All right, welcome back. Fourth Amendment and the Exclusionary Rule. All right, so we're talking about what exactly constitutes a reasonable or unreasonable search. So probable cause is one reason that police officers can search you legally or reasonably. Search warrant and consent are the other two reasons. Probable cause is a terrible definition, but it's the best I have for you. Probable cause is good reason to believe a crime has been committed. So if the officer has good reason to believe a crime has been committed, he or she can legally search you. They can also search you if they have a search warrant. A search warrant is an order from a judge validating or allowing a search to take place. So when the officer is making an arrest, what can the officer search? Well, the person under arrest, so that's why that person can be patted down when they get to the police station. They can go in their pockets and make sure that they state all of the things that are on them, on their body at that time. They can also search things in plain view, so what the officer can see. So if he's arresting you in your living room, front of your house, if he can see it, he's allowed to search it. He can't search so that's like the next one, things, places under your immediate control, including the room that you're in. If he can see it on the seat in your car, he can search it. It's in plain view. If it's something that you could grab, something that you're close to, if it's in that same room as you, again, the officer is allowed to search it. So what happens if they find evidence against you in an unreasonable, illegal way, and it shows that you may have actually committed the crime? Well, that illegally obtained evidence may not be used against you in trial, and this is known as the exclusionary rule. So illegally obtained evidence cannot be used against you in trial. They would refer to that evidence as fruit of the poisonous tree. So because that search was illegal, they can't use that evidence against you. However, the person may still be tried using other evidence. So this doesn't mean that they cannot still try to convict you and put you on trial, but they cannot use that evidence. All right, so that was the interpretation in the 1960s. It has since been scaled back a little bit where we have some exceptions have been created. One of those exceptions is known as objective good faith. Objective good faith means that police obtain a warrant that they believe is valid but is not for some reason. Usually this is some kind of technicality. This is like a typo on the warrant. Maybe it said avenue instead of street. Maybe it had the house number off by a little bit, but there's some minor mistake that officers think that they have a search warrant and can legally search you, but they can't. Objective good faith says that even though that warrant was technically not valid, the evidence obtained may be used against that person at trial. The inevitable discovery rule says that if it, meaning the evidence, would have eventually been found, it can still be used at trial, even if it was obtained illegally. So this one's a little bit more vague. So this is kind of saying like a body that was found on the side of a road. Maybe the suspect confessed to it and it was an illegal confession because they hadn't been told of their rights. They brought the police to the body. They showed them where it was. Well, if that body would have naturally eventually been found without that confession, they could still use the discovery of that body in a trial. If that body, however, was buried underneath that person's house, it likely would not ever have eventually been found. Therefore, they would not be able to use that evidence at a trial. So we have some contemporary issues like warrantless searches of cell phone data. We have limitations on bulk collection of telecommunications metadata. And so both of these things are things that haven't fully been solved by the Supreme Court yet, so they are subject and sources of debate. Just like the exclusionary rule is a source of debate, it makes the job of police officers and law enforcement tougher. It sometimes allows guilty people to get away with crimes that they didn't commit. But again, remember, we're trying to have that balance between liberty and order. Yes, society would like to punish criminals and wrongdoers, but at what cost? If we allow illegally obtained evidence to be used in trials, then the Fourth Amendment is essentially meaningless. So again, this is a balance that sometimes skews in one direction or the other, but that's the attempt. All right, don't forget, subscribe if you haven't. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate it so much. This has been a La Money production.